So this is the first video in reviewing for your interim. So this mini review is on functions, evaluating and simplifying expressions. So we're just going to go over 4 quick examples, and then we're going to go ahead and practice a bit. So first one, we have function notation. We have our function given to us, x squared minus 3x plus 6. And we are going to be evaluating it for f of -7, meaning we're just going to plug in the number -7 for x. So we're going to do f of -7, and we're going to just replace all x's for the number -7. Again, key thing is to make sure you are using parentheses. That is usually where I see mistakes happen. Sorry about that. And we're going to be plugging in that number -7 into the expression or to the function. And just simplify from that point on. Again, you can always just simplify it using your calculator. You can type in that whole thing after the equal sign, of course, and just hit enter and it gives you the answer, or you can just do it by hand. I'll go ahead and do it by hand, but again, you can always just type it all into the calculator. So 7 times 7 is 49, a negative times a negative is positive. -3 times -7 is positive 21, and then we add our 6. Nicely here we have all positive, so we just add everything across. That's 49 and 21 is going to give us 70, plus 6 is 76, being our final answer. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next example, which is the one right next to it, number 2. So here's still another function notation where we have 2 variables, so it's f of m of n. So we have a value for m and a value for n. Notice the first one right here represents the first number that we're given, so m is equal to 5 in this case. -5, I'm sorry, and n is equal to the 4. And the order will be in the same way you see it. So all we're going to do is go ahead and start evaluating here. -5 and 4 are the 2 numbers I'm going to plug into all the m's and the n's, making sure I do so correctly. Just be very careful not to forget anything. Again, use those parentheses and just plug everything in as needed. So I'm going to plug in -5 for m. I have two m's, so I'm going to plug in -5 twice. And I have 1 n in this case. I'm going to plug it in once. I'm going to plug in the 4 right there. Always double check that you did not forget anything before you start simplifying. Again, at this point, anything after the equal sign, all of this right here, you can type it in the calculator and hit enter and you will have your answer. But in this case, we'll go ahead and just do it by hand, but feel free to do it that way anytime. So -5 times -5 is positive 25. -5 times a negative outside the parentheses becomes a positive 5. 3 times 4 is 12, and then drop the 5. So we're going to go ahead and just finish it off. So 25 plus 5 is 30. Plus 12 and 5, this will give us 7. So our final answer is 37. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We have this expression. It's not a function. There's no function notation, so it's a matter of just simplifying. So again, first thing we always want to do is, right here on the side, is a distributive property. If you see parentheses, distribute first, and then 2 combine like terms. So those are the 2 general things we do when we're simplifying an expression. Same thing for an equation. So in this case, I do see we do have a set of parentheses. Outside of it, we have a -5. So we're going to distribute that -5. So we're going to be multiplying through by a -5 to the a and to the -4b. So 7b minus 5 times a is 5a. -5 times -4, this is where you need to be careful. It's going to be a 20, but it's positive, not negative, b. Drop the 2a and drop the -b. Then we just collect like terms or combine like terms. In this case, the b will combine with the b's, and then the a's will go with the a's. Generally, we put them in alphabetical order, so I'll do that. The -5 and the 2 will give us -3a. The 7, the 20 is 27, minus, again, in this one, is an invisible 1b. So 7 plus 20 is 27, minus 1 is 26. So we're going to have positive 26b. Again, you can also have your answer backwards. Both these answers are completely the same. Just be very careful that the signs match. So either one of these two answers would be acceptable. You'd have to look at your multiple choice answers to decide which one's the correct way to write it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one and see what we got. So we have number 4. Let's zoom in on it. We're going to have this following expression. We're going to simplify it. We do have parentheses, so we start off by doing the distributive property. So we're going to multiply it through by a negative or a -1 if you want to put the 1 in there, which you don't technically have to. But multiplying by a negative just switches our sign. So let's go ahead and drop what we do have. Don't freak out that we have all these exponents because they work the same way as any other variable. So the -1 times the -6 gives us a positive 6x squared y. The -1 on the outside times a positive gives us a negative x4 y3. And then we just go ahead and combine like terms. We have x squared y. The second one does not have an x squared y. The third one does though. So those two can be combined. That's going to give us 11. You never change the variables when you combine like terms. That's why they have to be alike to begin with, because when you combine them, they stay the same. So it's 11x squared y. And then the -3 combines with the negative x4 to the y3. So we're going to go ahead and combine those. A -3, and this one has a negative invisible 1. So -3 and -1 gives us -4. X to the power of 4. Again, powers do not change. Y to the 3rd. All right, this is the end of the first video. Go ahead and do the practice problems. When you're done or time is up, move on to the next one. Good luck.